Welcome, miladies of inestimable value. The only people who get upset about your boundaries are the ones who benefited from you having none. This isn't just a quote, it's a warning. The moment you start setting boundaries, you'll notice something fascinating. The people who once cheered for you suddenly start looking uncomfortable, maybe even offended. Why? Because your limits interrupt their convenience. Here's a fact that might shock you. Over 70% of people struggle to set boundaries not because they don't want to, but because they fear rejection. Think about that. Most people would rather sacrifice their peace than risk losing someone who doesn't even respect them. But not a Sigma female. She's the enigma in a world of pushovers, drawing lines like her life depends on it, because it does. She doesn't just set boundaries, she turns them into art. And here's the kicker. Her boundaries aren't fences, they're fortresses. You either respect them or find yourself politely shown the exit. Oh, and if you're wondering why some people seem to think boundaries are mean, it's because they've been enjoying the all-you-can-take buffet of your time and energy. Newsflash, the kitchen is closed and the Sigma female holds the keys. Let's dive into how she does it with precision, confidence, and a touch of unapologetic flair. Number 1. Set expectations up front. Setting expectations up front is one of the most underrated power moves a Sigma female makes. She doesn't leave anything open to interpretation because ambiguity is where boundaries get trampled. The moment she steps into a relationship, friendship, or even a professional setting, she's crystal clear about what she values, what she won't tolerate, and where the line is. This isn't about being bossy or controlling. It's about ensuring mutual respect from day one. By being upfront, she eliminates the "I didn't know" excuse people love to throw around when they're called out for stepping out of line. There's no guessing game, no awkward backtracking months later when things go wrong. Her boundaries aren't a secret, and she's not waiting for someone to cross them just so she can address it. She's proactive, not reactive. And this approach saves her time, energy, and unnecessary drama. But here's the kicker. She doesn't just talk the talk, she walks it too. If she says her weekends are sacred, she means it. If she states she won't tolerate disrespect, she'll cut ties the moment it happens. People quickly learn that her words aren't up for debate or reinterpretation. And this clarity, it weeds out the energy vampires, manipulators, and drama seekers who thrive on pushing limits. The beauty of setting expectations up front is that it's not just a boundary, it's a filter. It attracts the people who respect her and repels those who don't. And for a Sigma female, that's the ultimate goal, to build a life surrounded by people who get it, respect it, and never dare to test it. This isn't about controlling others, it's about owning her space and inviting only those who know how to honor it. Number 2, never apologize for saying no. Saying no without apologizing is one of the most liberating skills a Sigma female masters. She doesn't sugarcoat it, wrap it in excuses, or follow it up with a dozen justifications. No stands firm on its own, and she wields it like a shield, protecting her time, energy, and peace. It's not that she's cold or unkind, it's that she knows her limits and respects them enough to defend them unapologetically. The power in her no lies in its simplicity. There's no hesitation, no awkward laugh, no flurry of "I'm so sorry," but that people often throw in to soften the blow. She's not worried about being labeled selfish because she knows the truth. Protecting her boundaries isn't selfish, it's survival. And here's the twist. By saying no clearly and confidently, she sets a standard for how others should treat her. There's no wiggle room, no loophole for people to exploit. But this isn't just about rejecting something. It's about the ripple effect it creates. When a Sigma female says no, it forces people to pause and reevaluate their assumptions. The ones who respect her decision, they're worth keeping around. The ones who push back, guilt trip, or throw tantrums, they reveal themselves as takers who were never interested in mutual respect. Her no is like a spotlight. It shows who truly values her and who's just there for what they can get. Saying no unapologetically is more than just a boundary. It's a statement of self-worth. It says, I know what I deserve, and I won't settle for less. It's not about rejection, it's about protection. A Sigma female doesn't just say no to others, she says yes to herself every single time, and that's where her power truly lies. Number 3, redefine accessibility. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. And Sigma females have mastered this truth like a finely tuned art. They don't operate on the assumption that everyone's entitled to their time, energy, or presence. Access to a Sigma female is earned, not handed out like free samples. She's not playing hard to get. She's guarding her peace with surgical precision. For her, accessibility is a privilege, not a right. She decides who gets close, how close they get, and for how long. Her time isn't some public park where anyone can stroll in uninvited. It's more like a private island, exclusive, intentional, and protected by boundaries as solid as a fortress. This isn't arrogance, it's awareness. She understands that being too available dilutes her value and attracts the wrong kind of people, the takers, the time wasters, and the manipulators who thrive on unchecked access. But here's the beauty of her approach. She's not cold or dismissive. She's just incredibly intentional. If you're in her inner circle, you know you've been chosen with care. Every interaction feels purposeful, and her attention carries weight. On the flip side, those who expect her to be at their beck and call quickly learn that entitlement has no currency with her. By redefining accessibility, Sigma females make one thing clear: they're not for everyone, and they're okay with that. They're not interested in being universally liked. They're interested in protecting their energy, nurturing meaningful connections, and staying true to themselves. Access is earned, and once granted, it's cherished. But only as long as it's mutual and respectful. The moment it's not, the gates close, and she moves on without a second thought. Number 4. Prioritize over pleasing. Sigma. Females understand a critical truth. Trying to please everyone is the fastest way to lose yourself. They don't twist themselves into knots to keep others comfortable, nor do they sacrifice their peace to avoid disappointing someone. For them, self-preservation isn't just a priority, it's non-negotiable. They've learned that people-pleasing is a slippery slope, one where the more you give, the less people respect your boundaries. When faced with a choice between keeping someone happy or honoring their own needs, Sigma females will always prioritize themselves. Not because they're selfish, but because they know the cost of constantly putting others first. It drains your energy, erodes your confidence, and leaves you feeling invisible in your own life. They've seen this trap too many times and they've opted out. But this isn't about being rude or unkind. Sigma females are compassionate, but they refuse to confuse kindness with self-sacrifice. They recognize that saying no doesn't make them a bad person. It simply makes them honest. If a decision disrupts their peace, they'll pass, no matter how much it might disappoint someone else. They don't see that disappointment as their burden to carry. It's a natural consequence of having boundaries. The irony is that this approach earns them more respect in the long run. People come to value their time and decisions because they know it's not given lightly. Sigma females teach others that true respect comes from mutual understanding, not blind obedience. Pleasing everyone is a game they refuse to play, and by prioritizing themselves, they set a standard that others can't help but admire, even if they don't always like it. Number 5. Master the boundary reset. Sigma females know that boundaries aren't set and forget. They're living, breathing guidelines that sometimes need fine-tuning. When life throws curveballs or the lines start to blur, they don't panic or spiral into chaos. Instead, they hit pause, reassess, and masterfully reset. It's not about starting over. It's about adjusting to protect their peace, no matter what's happening around them. This reset isn't done out of weakness or frustration. It's a strategic recalibration. Sigma females understand that boundaries can be tested, whether by a demanding boss, a needy friend, or their own desire to overcommit. When they feel the cracks forming, they don't ignore them or power through like everything's fine. They stop, reevaluate, and realign their limits to match their current reality. The key is that they don't let external pressures dictate this process. They don't loosen their boundaries just because someone finds them inconvenient. If anything, those pressures only reinforce the importance of holding the line. For a Sigma female, a boundary reset isn't about pleasing others or appearing flexible. It's about staying true to herself and ensuring her energy is spent wisely. What makes this skill even more powerful is the grace with which they execute it. There's no drama, no guilt-tripping. No long-winded explanations. They adjust, inform the necessary people, and move forward without looking back. This ability to course-correct without apology keeps them grounded and prevents resentment from creeping in. Mastering the boundary reset is what allows Sigma females to thrive in chaos. They don't get swept up in the whirlwind. They step outside it, take stock, and reinforce the walls that keep their peace intact. It's not just a skill. It's a form of self-respect that ensures no situation, no matter how demanding, will ever overrun their lives. Number 6. Guard their time like it's gold. Sigma females treat their time like it's a non-renewable treasure because that's exactly what it is. They understand the brutal truth most people avoid. Once a moment is spent, it's gone forever. That's why they guard it fiercely, refusing to waste even a second on anything or anyone that doesn't add value to their lives. They're not afraid to decline an invitation, cut short a draining conversation, or walk away from meaningless obligations. This isn't about being dismissive or antisocial. It's about knowing their worth. They understand that giving time to the wrong people or activities isn't just unproductive. It's disrespectful to themselves. Their energy is sacred, and they protect it like their life depends on it. But here's the kicker. They don't just guard their time. They maximize it. Every hour is spent with intention, whether it's working toward their goals, nurturing meaningful relationships, or simply recharging in solitude. They've mastered the art of saying no without guilt, because they know that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something truly valuable. What sets them apart is their ability to spot time wasters from a mile away. Endless small talk, unnecessary meetings, one-sided relationships, all of it gets the chop. They're not interested in filling their schedule just to appear busy. They're focused on doing what matters and doing it well. This commitment to guarding their time makes them incredibly efficient, but it also makes them intimidating to those who thrive on access and attention. People may call them aloof or distant, but the truth is, Sigma females simply have no tolerance for anything that dilutes their energy or distracts them from their purpose. Their time is gold, and they spend it like the priceless currency it is. Number 7. Be willing to lose people. Sigma females don't cling to relationships out of fear or obligation. They understand that keeping someone around who disrespects their boundaries is far more damaging than letting them go. In fact, they've mastered the art of seeing the exit of such people not as a loss, but as a much-needed upgrade to their peace and self-respect. This willingness to lose people isn't cold-hearted. It's clarity. They know that anyone who tests, ignores, or bulldozes their boundaries is revealing exactly who they are. Someone who values their own needs above respect for others. For a Sigma female, that's an immediate red flag, not a challenge to fix or tolerate. She doesn't waste her energy trying to teach someone how to treat her. Instead, she walks away, confident that removing toxic energy from her life is the ultimate act of self-care. What makes this mindset powerful is the freedom it creates. Sigma females aren't shackled by the fear of being alone. They know their worth isn't tied to how many people they keep around, but to the quality of the relationships they maintain. And if that means having a smaller, tighter circle filled with respect and mutual understanding, so be it. The truth is, losing someone who disrespects you isn't a loss, it's alignment. It's the universe clearing space for better, healthier connections. Sigma females understand this deeply, and they lean into it without hesitation. They don't chase, beg, or compromise their values to keep someone who refuses to honor them. Instead, they let them go, fully aware that their boundaries aren't negotiable. In the end, this isn't about losing people. It's about keeping their peace and integrity intact, which is a win every single time. Number 8. Treat boundaries as self-care, not selfishness. Sigma females have zero patience for the outdated belief that prioritizing yourself is selfish. They've long rejected that narrative, recognizing that boundaries aren't just a tool, they're a lifeline. For them, setting boundaries is an act of self-care in its purest form, a way to safeguard their mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. It's how they preserve their energy in a world that seems designed to drain it. They know that constantly saying yes to everyone else means saying no to themselves, and they're not about to let that happen. Sigma females unapologetically put themselves first, not out of arrogance, but out of necessity. They understand that they can't show up fully for anyone else, whether it's friends, family, or work, if they're running on empty. Protecting their peace isn't selfish. It's what allows them to be the best version of themselves. And here's the thing. They don't let guilt sneak in. They've made peace with the fact that some people will see their boundaries as rejection, but that's not their problem to fix. They've realized that those who truly respect them will understand, while those who don't were only benefiting from their lack of limits. It's a harsh truth, but one they've embraced with open arms. By treating boundaries as self-care, Sigma females redefine the narrative around putting yourself first. They show that it's not about shutting people out. It's about showing up for yourself so you can show up for others when it truly matters. It's not selfish to protect your time, energy, or sanity. It's essential, and the people who matter most will not only respect that, but admire it. Boundaries, to a Sigma female, are the ultimate form of self-respect, and they'll never apologize for honoring them. Number 9. Control the narrative. Sigma females don't wait around for others to test their boundaries. They draw them with boldness and clarity from the start. They don't react to disrespect. They proactively shape the narrative of how they are treated. This isn't about being controlling, it's about taking ownership of their space and making it clear where the line is before anyone has a chance to cross it. From the get-go, Sigma females make it known what's acceptable and what's not. There's no ambiguity, no silent fuming when someone steps over the line. They don't need to wait for people to disappoint them or push their limits because they've already set those limits firmly in place. They communicate their expectations with strength and confidence, knowing that anyone who respects them will honor those boundaries without question. This proactive approach is empowering. By controlling the narrative, Sigma females ensure they're never caught off guard or scrambling to defend themselves. They set the tone for how they want to be treated, and they do so unapologetically. If someone steps out of line, they address it immediately. No hesitation, no second guessing. They don't make excuses for others' behavior or put up with toxic dynamics just to avoid conflict. Instead, they clear the air swiftly, reaffirming their boundaries and reinforcing the message that they won't tolerate being disrespected. The beauty of this is that Sigma females don't just teach others how to treat them. They teach them how to respect themselves, too. When you stand firm in your boundaries and refuse to settle for less than you deserve, you not only control the narrative of your own life, but you also set a standard for everyone else. In their world, respect isn't a given, it's earned, and it starts with them. N instead. Number 10. Hold others accountable without hesitation. Sigma females don't beat around the bush when someone crosses the line. They call out disrespect or boundary violations immediately without hesitation or the urge to soften the blow. There's no, maybe you didn't realize, or it's not a big deal in their playbook. They address it directly, and they do it in a way that leaves no room for misinterpretation. The message is clear. They won't tolerate being disrespected, and they won't shy away from making that known. For a Sigma female, letting someone off the hook is not an option. If someone oversteps, they'll address it straight away, no matter how uncomfortable the conversation might be. This isn't about being confrontational for the sake of it. It's about setting a standard. They believe that clear communication is the only way to maintain the boundaries they've worked hard to establish. Letting things slide might seem easier in the moment, but it's a sure way to invite more disrespect down the road. The key here is that Sigma females don't apologize for holding people accountable. They don't make excuses for others' behavior or allow themselves to feel guilty for standing up for themselves. It's not personal, it's principle. If you overstep, you'll be called out. And if you can't respect their boundaries, you don't get to be part of their life. They're not interested in playing games or tiptoeing around issues. They address problems head-on, which is why they earn respect from those who value honesty and directness. By holding others accountable without hesitation, Sigma females set the tone for every relationship in their life. They don't let others walk all over them, and they don't expect others to do the same. It's a level of self-respect that demands the same in return. and it leaves no room for doubt. In the end, the art of setting boundaries as a Sigma female is not just about saying no to others. It's about saying yes to yourself. It's about crafting a life where peace, growth, and respect are non-negotiable, and where you unapologetically protect the space that allows you to evolve into the best version of yourself. These boundaries aren't walls built to keep people out. They're the invisible lines that define your worth, your energy, and your time. And in that space, you create the freedom to thrive, to choose, and to live authentically without compromise. Sigma females understand that boundaries are not barriers. They're the blueprint for a life lived on their own terms. They know that in order to give their best to others, they must first give their best to themselves. They reject guilt. They redefine what it means to prioritize their well-being, and they step into every relationship, opportunity, and challenge with a sense of unshakable self-respect. By holding firm to their limits, they aren't just protecting themselves, they're paving the way for others to respect and appreciate them at their highest value. So, as a Sigma female, remember, boundaries are not a luxury, they are the foundation of your power. Keep redefining them, protecting them, and never, ever let anyone or anything threaten the sacred space that allows you to grow into the unstoppable force you are. If you've found value in these insights and you're ready to embrace the power of setting boundaries like a true Sigma female, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join this community of strong, self-aware, and unapologetically authentic individuals who are committed to living life on their own terms. Subscribing is your first step towards mastering the art of self-respect, personal growth, and creating the life you deserve. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. So go ahead, subscribe now, and let's continue this journey of unstoppable transformation together. Thanks for watching, my ladies. See you in the next video. Bye for now, and God bless.